But first at 6, meteorologist Bob Child is here with the first check of your weather on the One's forecast. Bob, it felt so nice and so cool today. Sheriff's officials are now calling this a criminal investigation, but many of the buildings are in disrepair and it's a challenging situation. Ryan, there's a little golf tournament taking place in Charlotte this week.
That's this week?
It is.
Oh, this is going to be
Something
an
to
interesting
note.
sportscast. All right, folks.
Okay, we obviously lost Brittany's audio. Let me tell you that some of those firefighters were injured. This was a 4-alarm fire on South Elm Street in Greensboro. Reported just before 1 p.m. at the Import Night Auto Repair in the 800 block of South Elm Street, and crews have been on the scene for several hours battling this fire. That's some of the background in case we're not able to get back out there live to Brittany Edney. However, as I just said, some firefighters were injured after a roof collapse at that location. Our Caitlin Lockerbie is live with the new information just released by the fire department. So Caitlin, what can you tell us about the firefighters and their injuries? All right, Caitlin, thank you. Good to hear none of the injuries are life-threatening. Now, why don't we head back out live to Brittany Edney to fill in some of the blanks about what led to this fire. Brittany. Carolina Poop Rinse helps property management companies deal with owners who don't clean up after their dogs, go. Doug, I kind of think it looked worse today than it actually was.
Yeah, a lot of cloud cover, gloomy.
Involved in yesterday's hit and run in Winston-Salem. Now, you might remember these gruesome details we told you about. A man was killed after being struck by a car, and he was dragged for 3 miles through Winston-Salem until his death. Now, police say the driver actually stopped momentarily before continuing on, with 54-year-old John Otis still trapped underneath. Again, he was dragged until his death, a very gruesome detail there. Police are still investigating. They have said they have warrants for the driver, and they have located the driver of the car they believe is involved. Viola Demetra Spencer is the person they're telling us they have been looking for. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sharon Stone. Those stories are coming right up, but first at 6, meteorologist Bob Child is here with the first check of your weather on the One's forecast. Bob, it felt so nice and so cool today.
It did, and I tell you what, wait till you see tomorrow morning, Sharon, because we got a lot of changes to talk about coming up, Sharon.
All right, see you then. Thank you, Bob. The FBI, SBI, and Rowan County Sheriff's investigators searched the home of Erica Parsons today. Neighbors say dozens of law enforcement officers showed up around 10 this morning and searched all day for clues in the 15-year-old's disappearance. Sheriff's officials are now calling this a criminal investigation. Salisbury Bureau reporter Jenna Barnes has the latest.
It makes me want.
The sheriff's office initially said they would hold a news conference today, but later canceled that. They have not given an update on this case in more than a week. Rockingham County authorities charged a woman who they say faked her own kidnapping. Deputies say 39-year-old Christina McGee called 911 to report her boyfriend holding her against her will at a house in Stoneville. When authorities arrived, the house was empty. After investigators called her back, they say she told them her boyfriend had her in his car on the way to Virginia. Deputies eventually stopped her boyfriend, who was returning from a trip to Virginia and knew nothing about the kidnapping report. The deputies later found McGee at a motel in Eden, where they say she admitted to making up the whole story. She's now in jail on a charge of resisting, obstructing, and delaying officers. Educators across North Carolina are rallying against the state's new budget and cuts to higher pay for teachers with a master's degree. As News 14 Carolina's Amanda McKenzie explains, opponents of the measure say it's not just about the salary, but its ultimate impact on students and the quality of their education.
News 14 Carolina.
Educators at the Red for Ed rally say they hope November will bring newly elected candidates to the General Assembly who can reverse this decision and restore the added financial incentive of a master's degree. Governor Pat McCrory's approval rating hits a new low. The latest numbers from public policy polling show only 39% of voters approve of the job he's doing. Meanwhile, 50% of voters think the General Assembly is causing North Carolina national embarrassment, and more people now say they have a higher opinion of the Moral Monday protesters than they do of state lawmakers. The poll had a margin of error of plus or minus 4%. Tourism is growing in Guilford County. The North Carolina Division of Tourism shows visitors spent more than $1 billion in Guilford County last year. That is a 6% increase from 2011. As News 14 Carolina's Chad Mira tells us, tourist officials say recent sporting events helped.
News 14 Carolina.
Ahead here at 6 on News 14 Carolina on ABC 45.
You're watching News 14 Carolina on ABC 45.
Some people in High Point hit some bumps in the road as they try to revitalize that area. Property owners in Washington Street community work to give the area a boost, but many of the buildings are in disrepair and it's a challenging situation. As News 14 Carolina's Stephanie Stillwell tells us, one property owner hopes to save her historic building and be a catalyst for change.
Stephanie Stillwell, News 14, Carolina.
Williams says she needs the community's help to restore the building. For more information, just head to the StoryLink section of news14.com. More than 1,500 people are volunteering their time and energy at the 74th Wyndham Championship. They're serving as gallery marshals, on the putting range, and in course operations. Organizers say they'd be hard-pressed to run this tournament without them.
You can do it. This tournament would not happen without the volunteers. They are the heart and soul of this tournament.
Some volunteer positions require knowledge of the game. Walking scorers receive mandatory instruction from PGA staff before the tournament. And sports is next here on News 14 Carolina on ABC 45 and out at Wyndham. A former champ is viewed as the favorite this week at Sedgefield. Mike Solarte with more just ahead. And in our Carolina Minute, high school football players in part of our state are getting NFL treatment. We'll enjoy some cooler weather. Thank you, Bob. Greensboro's Urban Ministry is hoping people will step up and help them after what leaders there are calling a disaster. A sewage pipe burst causing $100,000 worth of damage, forcing the organization to close its kitchen. Shiloh Baptist Church has opened its doors as a temporary meal serving station.
But now our volunteer groups who bring in the meal, we have to bring in cold meals, meals that don't require heat up or any wash up. So we've made an appeal out to groups if they're willing to put together bag lunches to donate to us.
For more information on how you can help, just search for Urban Ministry at news14.com. We'll make way for more Walmarts in Guilford County. These are of the smaller variety called Walmart Neighborhood Markets. One opened today in High Point at the corner of Wendover Avenue and Penny Road. The store manager says he's hired nearly 100 people.
Transferred about 20% from one of the Walmarts. So about 80% of our staff are new hires off the street coming into this format here.
Another neighborhood Walmart opens August 28 in Greensboro on High Point Road. A disappointing Wednesday for the markets. Let's get the latest on the economy now from our team on Wall Street. That is our time at 6. ABC World News with Diane Sawyer is next. Hope to see you back here at 11 on ABC 45. And you can get more news anytime on News 14 Carolina on Time Warner Cable. Have a great night.
So you want to wrap it a little bit tighter.
Plastic bottles, cereal boxes, and packing tape.
Awesome. Teamwork.
May not be high tech, but add a little water and some air pressure. And you have the Proud Science Geek Festival. And as you can tell by their excited cheers, the bottle rocket launch is a success.
I was really amazed how high it went.
Can you bring this to the table?
But the students here had to put the work in to reach those heights.
Boom, good job. All right.
They're learning how to build and create their rockets at this Lessons in Flight workshop at Harris Lake County Park.
It's pretty fun. I like the hands-on science. That's really fun.
3, 2.
But the bottle rockets, kites, and other experiments in flight weren't always ready for takeoff today.
When I flew it for twice, it didn't work out well, but when I modified it, it worked perfectly.
We talked about the idea of tinkering and experimentation and not always getting it right the first time. Just being able to say, all right, I didn't get it right this time. Failure is okay, but I'm going to keep trying.
There we go, and twist the bottle.
Abear hopes these experiments will skyrocket the students into a love of science.
It's a really fun, explosive activity that the kids can do. It's really hands-on, and it gives them something to take home.
For now, they're having a blast learning these lessons in flight.
That was brilliant!
For Connect a Million Minds, I'm Sharon Stone.